There are days that break you, days that feel like the world cracked open beneath your feet. You're standing there speechless, with a weight on your chest you didn't ask for, didn't deserve, didn't see coming. A phone call, a betrayal, a silence that stretches on too long, a dream that died before it could walk. Whatever it is, you're not okay, not today. And maybe you're pretending, smiling through it, nodding when people talk, but not hearing a single word. Because inside, you're stuck. If you're here, you're probably carrying something no one else can see, that invisible bruise on your soul. But listen to me carefully. This is not where your story ends. You don't need to fake your way to strength. You don't need to drown in silence. You don't need to wait for time to heal it. What you need is a framework, a path, a way back, and that's what you're about to get. A 3-step method to rise above your worst day. Not ignore it, not deny it, but rise through it, stronger, clearer, wiser. This isn't toxic positivity, it's practical psychology, it's lived experience. It's how you pick yourself up when life knocks you down. Let's begin. Breathe, right now, just breathe. Let the air fill you, hold it, now release. Not because it fixes anything, but because it starts something, a signal to your nervous system that you're not giving up. Not today, because right now you're about to learn how to take back your power, piece by piece, breath by breath. Step 1 is called ground the storm. When life blindsides you, your mind spirals. You replay the moment, the words, the feeling, over and over. You wonder, could I have stopped it? Was it my fault? What do I do now? The thoughts don't slow down, they loop. And the more they loop, the more helpless you feel. That's the storm. But here's the truth. You can't solve a problem from inside the panic. You must ground it first. How? Start with presence. Name 5 things you can see. Now 4 things you can touch. 3 you can hear. 2 you can smell. 1 you can taste. It sounds simple, it sounds ridiculous, but it works. Because trauma pulls you into the past. Anxiety drags you into the future. But peace lives in the present. You don't need to fix everything today. You just need to land. Once you're grounded, you can face what's real, not what your panic is exaggerating. Say this: I am here, I am breathing, I can move forward. Not someday. Now, this is your power. This is the reset button. And yes, the pain might still be there. But now it's not running the show. Now it's not leading your mind like a wild horse. You've got the reins back. That's step 1. Step 2 is rewrite the narrative. Every blow you take comes with a story. And often, it's not one you chose. It's the story your hurt writes. I failed. I wasn't enough. I'll never recover from this. Everyone leaves. It always ends like this. But those aren't facts. They're wounds. And wounds lie. They lie loud, they lie well, but they are lies. So your job is to write a better story. Not a fake one, not a fairy tale, but a truer one. Because truth isn't just the event, it's how you interpret it. Let's say you got rejected. You could say, I must be worthless. Or you could say, this hurts, but I now know who's not for me. I'm still valuable. That second story, it gives you air. It gives you space to grow. It doesn't erase the pain. It reframes it. You're not pretending, you're choosing. Choosing to see yourself not as the victim of the moment, but as the author of your healing. This isn't just feel-good advice. It's cognitive behavioral science. The thoughts you choose shape the emotions you feel, which shape the actions you take, which shape the life you build. Change the story, and you change your trajectory. Ask yourself this: what would the strongest, most loving version of me say about this? That's your new narrative. Write it down, say it out loud, and say it again and again, until it becomes your lens, your identity. That's step 2. Step 3 is reclaim momentum. Because here's the trap: you survive the worst day, but then you stop moving, you linger, you doubt, you shrink, you get stuck in survival and call it safety. But healing doesn't happen in stillness alone. It happens in motion, small motion, gentle steps, tiny wins. That's how you reclaim momentum. Start with one thing. One action that proves you're still alive, still choosing, still here. Drink a glass of water, make your bed, text someone back, go for a walk, plan your week. Whatever it is, let it be simple, let it be doable, let it be now. Don't wait to feel ready, do it anyway. Because momentum creates motivation, not the other way around. And with each small step, you remind yourself the story isn't over, that you're not broken, that your life still belongs to you. This is where you rise. Not perfectly, but powerfully. You see, most people think bouncing back means pretending it didn't happen, forcing a smile, posting the quote, saying I'm fine when you're not. But real strength is softer than that. It doesn't shout, it whispers, I'm still here. And that whisper, that's the beginning of the return. Let's go deeper, because you need more than a checklist. You need why these steps work. So let's revisit them, but with the weight they deserve. When you ground the storm, you do something radical. You break the loop. You tell your body, we are not dying. Because in trauma, the brain doesn't know the difference between memory and reality. It replays the moment like it's happening again, right now. The cortisol floods your bloodstream, your heart races, you freeze, or you flee, or you fight shadows that aren't even there. But when you bring yourself into the moment by naming what you see, by touching something real, by breathing on purpose, you shut the alarm off. You tell your nervous system, we're safe, we can feel without falling apart. This is the doorway to healing. Not ignoring the pain, but making space to hold it. And when you rewrite the narrative, you do something even more powerful. You reclaim authorship. Pain loves to hijack your voice. It loves to dictate your story in past tense. She failed, he wasn't good enough, they were rejected. But you flip the script. You say, yes, that happened. But here's what it means to me. You turn heartbreak into wisdom, loss into insight, failure into fuel. And the beauty is, you don't need permission, you don't need applause, you don't even need proof yet, you just need choice. And every time you speak a better truth, you etch it deeper into your mind. You form new neural pathways, ones that make room for growth. Instead of grief alone, this is why affirmations matter. Not the cheesy ones, the real ones. The ones that say, I am allowed to feel this and I'm still moving forward. The ones that say, I don't need to be perfect to begin again. The ones that say, this is hard, but so am I. And finally, when you reclaim momentum, you shift from reaction to creation. You stop waiting for a break. You become the break. Because let's be honest, there is no magic rescue coming. No night, no lightning bolt, no sudden fix. It's just you. And that might sound sad at first, but really, it's powerful. Because if it's up to you, then nothing can stop you. Only slow you down. Only test your pace. But your direction, that stays yours. Every little win matters. Even brushing your teeth, even putting on clothes, even standing up and saying, I'm not done yet. That's momentum. That's muscle memory for resilience. And it grows. Every step reinforces the identity of someone who gets back up, not just once, but every time. The real goal isn't to avoid bad days. That's impossible. The goal is to know what to do with them, to see them not as dead ends, but as doorways. And every time you walk through one, you carry a new layer of wisdom, a new kind of peace, a new depth of compassion for yourself and for others. Because here's the secret. Your worst days don't just build you. They build your empathy. The next time you see someone struggling, you'll recognize the look, the silence, the fake smile, and you'll know what to say. You'll know how to be there. You'll know how to hold space, because you've walked through it. And maybe that's part of the purpose, to make you stronger and softer, more grounded and more open. Your pain is not your identity, but it is part of your becoming. Say this with me. I am not my worst day, I am the person who rose from it. Again, I am not my worst day, I am the person who rose from it. Let that sink in. Take a deep breath, let it all rise to the surface, and let it go. Not because you're healed, but because you're healing. And that's enough. You don't need to be at the finish line to move forward. You just need to take the next right step. And that step starts now. Let's be real for a moment. Sometimes rising doesn't look heroic. It doesn't look cinematic. It doesn't sound like thunder or feel like fireworks. Sometimes rising is just getting out of bed when everything in you wants to stay under the covers. Sometimes it's sending one message, I need help. Or cancelling a plan because you finally chose rest over performance. And sometimes rising is messy. It's crying in the car, it's standing in the shower too long, it's breathing through the ache and whispering, not today, I won't give in today. And let me tell you something, no one else will. There is no timeline for healing, but there is a decision. The decision to begin. You begin by showing up for yourself. Imperfectly, inconsistently, but still, you show up. That's how you rise. And as you do, you'll start to notice a shift. The heavy moments still come, but they don't crush you like they used to. The thoughts still whisper, but they don't drown you out. You begin to carry your pain differently, not as a burden, but as a teacher. And like all good teachers, it demands your attention, but it also offers you wisdom. You begin to see your lowest points not as weakness, but as places where your courage was born. Yes, the day was hard. Yes, you bent, but you didn't break. You adapted, you endured, and you emerged. That's a kind of strength no one can take from you. Let's go deeper now. Let's talk about what happens when you've started to heal. But life hits you again, because it will. And you'll think, I already learned this lesson. I already did the work. I thought I was done with this. But healing isn't a straight line. It's a spiral. It brings you back to the same pain, with deeper perspective each time. That's not failure. That's integration. You're not back at square one. You're on a higher level, returning to reinforce the foundation. So when that old ache shows up, when you feel it in your chest or behind your eyes, or in that silence that creeps in when you're alone, don't panic. Welcome it. Not because you like it, but because it has something to say. Ask it, what are you here to teach me now? And then listen. You might hear, you've been neglecting yourself again. Or you need to rest. You're still holding on to that grudge. You're afraid to be vulnerable. Whatever it says, don't fight it. Don't shame it. Don't stuff it back down. Hear it, feel it, and release it. That's how you rise again. Not by denying the fall, but by learning from it. Let me tell you about a story. A woman I knew once lost everything in the span of a week. Her job, her partner, her sense of identity. She was crushed. She sat on her floor with nothing but silence. And for a while, she didn't move. Then she did something small. She washed a single dish, and the next day 2. Then she wrote a letter, not to anyone, but to herself. She said, "You're still here, that means something." And it did. Today, she's unrecognizable, not because her life is perfect, but because she is rooted. She knows who she is, because she survived what she wasn't sure she could. You might be in that space now, that floor moment, that silent space where nothing feels real. And I want to remind you, you are still here. That means something. So let's walk through it again. Step 1, ground the storm, get back to the present, interrupt the panic, anchor yourself in now. Step 2, rewrite the narrative. Tell the truth, but the whole truth, not just the pain, but the power too. Choose a lens that leads to healing. Step 3, reclaim momentum. Do one small thing, then another. Stack them like bricks. Build your way out. This is not a motivational speech, it's a manual for survival. Because your worst day might not be your last bad day, but it can be the last day you let pain define you. It can be the day you started choosing yourself, not just in theory, but in action. Because rising isn't an event, it's a rhythm, a return, a practice. Every time you rise, you build a new version of yourself, one that knows it can take a hit and still stand tall. You become unshakable, not because nothing moves you, but because nothing destroys you. This is your moment, right here, right now. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for someone to fix it for you. Don't wait for the world to give you permission. Rise. Rise awkwardly, rise slowly, rise crying if you must, but rise anyway. Because this is how it begins. This is how you rebuild. This is how you write the next chapter. Not in the absence of pain, but in the presence of purpose. Let's talk about the quiet pain, the one you carry into work with a straight face, the one you tuck behind "I'm good, just tired," the one you don't post about, don't journal about, don't even name out loud. That's the pain that eats away at your identity. It's not loud, but it's relentless. It tells you you're not as strong as you used to be. It whispers that maybe this time you won't bounce back. But let me remind you, you've been here before, not this exact moment, but this feeling. And somehow, you're still here. Not because it was easy, but because you made it through hard things. That's not weakness, that's data. Evidence, proof that you have more capacity than you think. You don't have to conquer this all today. You just have to confront one layer, one thread of the mess, and start untangling. You've already taken the first step by being willing to face it, to name it, to watch a video about rising instead of scrolling past it. You're not passive, you're preparing. Because this is the key most people miss. We're told to wait until we feel better. Wait until the inspiration hits. Wait until we're motivated. But the most powerful people don't wait. They act to create motion. And motion creates emotion. Let me say that again. Motion creates emotion. You don't meditate because you feel calm. You meditate to become calm. You don't work out because you're energized. You work out to get energized. You don't reach out because you're confident. You reach out, and confidence follows. So don't ask, what do I feel like doing today? Ask, what would build me back stronger? And then do that, even if it's small, especially if it's small. Because here's the neuroscience. Every action you take reinforces an identity. When you choose to rise, even in the tiniest way, you're casting a vote for the version of you that survives this. You're wiring your brain to believe, I am someone who doesn't stay down. And the brain listens. It adapts, it rewires itself around your choices. That's not spiritual fluff, that's neuroplasticity. That's real science. Let's make this real. Grab a pen or just say this in your mind right now. What's one action? One single action that future me will thank me for doing today. Hold that answer, write it down. That's your anchor, that's your way forward. You don't need a breakthrough, you need a behavior. And once you act on it, you'll feel something shift. Not all at once, but enough to notice, enough to say, okay, maybe I'm not stuck, maybe I'm rebuilding. Now let's talk about support. Because rising isn't always a solo mission, and sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is ask for help. I get it. You don't want to be a burden, you don't want to explain the whole story, you don't want to cry in front of someone, but let me tell you this. You don't rise alone, even if all they do is sit beside you. That's enough. Even if all they say is, yeah, I've been there too. That's enough. Because connection creates clarity. And being seen heals things even silence can't. So call them. Text them. Say, hey, I don't need fixing. Just company. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. And if no one comes to mind, you still have you. Your own presence matters more than you think. Sit with yourself like you would a friend. Listen to the stories in your head. And talk back with kindness. Say, I know this hurts, I know it feels heavy, but we're going to walk through it together. Because the truth is, you've already survived your hardest moment. Think about that. You've already lived through something you once thought might break you. And here you are, breathing, listening, rebuilding. You are not broken, you are becoming. Your worst day may have changed you, but it doesn't define you. Let me say that again. Your worst day may have changed you, but it does not define you. You define you with what you do next, with what you choose to believe, with how you show up, even when no one's watching. This is the work, this is the path. Not sexy, not viral, but sacred, because it's yours. And when you rise from this, you'll carry something with you no one can fake. A depth, a knowing, a quiet kind of strength that speaks without words. People will feel it, they won't know why. But they'll feel safer around you because you've walked through the fire and came out with warmth. You didn't let it harden you, you let it shape you. And that is what rising really is. Let's bring it home. You've walked with me through the storm, you've grounded your breath, you've rewritten your story, you've taken your first steps forward. But now, it's time to embody the shift. Because true rising isn't just a moment, it's a mindset, a way of meeting the world. Not with fear, but with presence. So let me ask you something. When the dust settles, who do you want to be on the other side of this? Not what job title, not how much money, not how many followers or trophies. Who do you want to be when it's quiet again? Do you want to be the person who shut down, who shrank from the pain, who built walls so high that nobody could reach them, not even you? Or do you want to be the person who stayed soft in the fire, who kept their heart open even when it ached, who said, yes, I bled, but I also bloomed? Because that choice, it's yours. Even if the pain wasn't, even if the loss wasn't, even if the betrayal or the heartbreak or the curveball wasn't. What happens next is you are not helpless. You are not hopeless. You are not just the sum of what's happened to you. You are also the sum of how you respond, of what you create from the rubble, of how you decide to rise. You want to rise above your worst day? Then start here. Start now. Start simple. Put your feet on the ground. Feel the air in your lungs. Whisper, this is not the end of me. Say it again. this is not the end of me. And then, step forward. Step forward when the fear says freeze. Step forward when the doubt screams louder than reason. Step forward even when your legs shake and your chest is tight, because courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to keep moving despite it. You don't have to leap. You don't have to run. You just have to step. One foot, then the other. And with every step, you build resilience, you gather your pieces, you collect your power, and eventually, you rise. You rise above what tried to break you. You rise above the people who didn't believe in you. You rise above the voice in your own head that said, you'll never make it. And when you rise, you don't just rise for yourself. You rise for everyone watching, for everyone who thinks they can't. For everyone stuck on their worst day right now, looking for a way out. Your rise becomes their map, your story becomes their permission. That's how healing ripples. That's how change spreads. That's how we all get stronger together. So the next time the world falls out from under you, and it will, remember this, you've done this before. You know the way back. You have the tools, you have the breath, you have the voice. You have the right to begin again, not as who you were, but as who you've become. And that version of you, they're not weaker from the fall, they're deeper, wiser, stronger, more alive. So rise. Not for applause, not for perfection, not to prove anyone wrong. Rise because you are worth the effort. Rise because the future still belongs to you. Rise because the next chapter cannot be written without your voice in it. This isn't the end, this is the climb. And every scar you carry, it's a landmark. A place where you met yourself and didn't back down. One day you'll look back and say, that was the day I rose. Not because I had to, but because I could. If this message found you on a hard day or became the turning point in your worst day, then let it live in you. Let it change how you rise tomorrow. And if you need more, come back, replay it, reground, rewrite, reclaim. This is your space now, and you're not alone. For more tools, more stories, and more moments like this, subscribe to Brain Unboxed. Explore the Mindset Mastery and Habit Formation playlists. Share this with someone who's stuck in silence. Together,